Shalom, shalom. First off, we give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Chakodash. We want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and shalom out there to the hopeful that pushing his truth and not sincerity, man. We're gonna do a quick video, man, because we did the video last night. Over an hour long, going into this Gabon situation, and Satan just messed up the whole. It didn't save right, so yeah, come to try and upload it, couldn't upload it. So we're gonna do a quick kind of summary of what we're going into last night. So yeah, we got the situation in Gabon, and it's kind of a strange situation because it seems like you got the US infringing on the French, man, who were their allies, right, in Gabon, right? Because you just had a coup that just kind of took place there, and the coup seems, like we said yesterday, from what we're hearing from this moment in time, is being backed by the US, and this is because the US are looking at the French like they're unable to control their nations right now. Because of all the other uprisings going on or whatever, and they can't really afford to be losing land and resources because they got oil in Gabon, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, oil in Gabon, yeah.
To Russia and China and that. So there's a lot of fighting going on in Africa. These different nations and that for their resources and positions, jostling for position there at the moment because there's a fight for power. And so yeah, the US seemingly has just violated their allies by just moving in on them and basically calling them weak and whatever, man. And that ain't gonna go down well with the French, damn sure. Yeah. And probably not even with the rest of the European bloc, because if US is acting like that, then ain't nobody really. They don't give a shit about them.
Yeah. I mean, because that was one of the things we touched on yesterday, right? Which was how. This is like the third time, that
French have been violated.
The French have been violated. America's just come in and just done whatever it is that they wanted to do. Start off with the situation with the you were speaking about with the submarine deal, where the French basically said, "Oh, we'll build it for you, Australia." Then America went and said, "No, okay, we got it.
We're gonna do it."
Then Nord Stream. Right, Nord Stream, where America just came and just all evidence is suggest that it was America that either did it or used Ukraine to do it.
And they had the biggest MO.
Exactly. And then they were the ones that straight up said, hey, if this starts building, we need to put an end to it.
Yeah, I remember, they mentioned that.
Several times on several occasions.
We'll do something about that. Biden said it, and then down the line something happened.
Yeah.
So,
and then at that point, they're like, oh no, it wasn't us. How could you even say such a thing?
And then, they're pointing fingers, it's the Russians and whatever, whatever, man. The Russians had no need to do that, man. The Russians want their money, man, from Germany and that. But you just made Europeans suffer during that winter, and all that. Yeah, fuck Biden, because he made our gas prices and our heating go up, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, US, and the leaders and whatever, all right, just fucking people over, man. Yeah. And there's a sentiment among these European nations now that they're getting sick and tired of the US and their bullying tactics, man. Because America is a bully. Grab us who's more stout than their fellows, bro, because that's what it is. They're so proud and pompous because they've got that military behind them, which is greater than the rest of them. They spearhead NATO, right? America is the major bulk of NATO in terms of their military might. Okay, so they, as they keep going on about it, they've got the greatest military in the world, and Europe is weak in comparison. Yeah, right. So America get to do what they want, and plus they're the world reserve currency. They're the ones putting sanctions on everybody.
Yeah.
They're just really bullying everybody, man, and their own allies are getting tired of it, man.
Yeah, it's like that was another one that we had gone into yesterday about how America messed up the P5+1, the Iran deal.
Yep.
Right, because you had these European companies that was like, oh, we can do deals with Iran now, so they started doing the deals. They started signing the contracts. Then Trump came in and was like, actually, no, we're going to roll that right back.
Pull the plug,
and now, of course, that's money that has been invested, start building these deals up and whatever, what have you. Right, but America's acting unilaterally, right, whereas they're supposed to be acting in in an alliance, but they're the head of the alliance, and basically all of these low level European nations just have to follow.
That's right.
This is Daniel 7:20. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows.
Right, this little horn or this other horn that came up is America. Right, that came out of Britain and came out of the wars, you know, the wars that went on in the land of America between the French and the Spanish, right, and the British, right. They were the
Spanish, yeah.
They were the horns that they took down essentially, right, when they became independent, right, and they became proud, right, because now where are they now? They're at the head of all nations, man. After World War II and Europe was mashed up, America became the sole power seat in the world.
Yep.
You know, and everybody. I read a bit about it. America was helping all these European nations to rebuild.
Okay,
they had the man in debt essentially. They helping them build things, giving them money for this and that.
Yeah.
You know, so America became that focal point, and they became the world reserve currency from that point on. You know, Russia was recovering because they took heavy losses during the war, right? And so that whole Cold War happened afterwards because the US is being douchebags, causing relations to be a bit sour. When there was really no need for it. The Russians should be heroes. You know what I mean? They should be heroes, man. But they're not in this world now. Now they're villains of some sort. But yeah, America became that one that was proud and more stout than his fellows. Okay, and that's how they treat their comrades, right? How they treat their allies. As if they're nothing really, that they're so much better than them because they got the money, they got the power, because even when Trump came down to like a NATO summit, he was kind of berating them and talking down to them, saying, look, you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're not committed to NATO and all this kind of business.
You're not committing your spending because it's supposed to be 2% of GDP.
And they weren't all doing that, man. But everyone's got different economic situations, which is another thing we're gonna touch on quickly. But Trump didn't give a shit, right? He's saying, look, well, if you ain't gonna do that, maybe we'll just pull out.
Yeah.
He was looking down on them, man. He was resentful towards them, man. And now with this whole Gabon thing with France and that, what I mean? It's like they got no respect for them, and so that's not gonna sit well. But they're gonna have to eat it for the time being. Because they're allies, supposedly, right? Supposedly. And France ain't going to do nothing about it, but they're going to feel a bit, sour of it, of course.
That's it.
Yep.
So it says, and even of that horn that had eyes and that mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. That I've read that. That once again, whose look was more stout than his fellows, man.
Yep.
I remember that image that came out of Donald Trump when he was getting booked. He looked stout as hell, man. He had that grimacing look, He has to be one of them guys. He has to be.
I don't give a shit. You ain't gonna do nothing.
Yep. So Revelation 17:16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore.
Right, so these 10 horns are these allies of them, right? They're attached to the beast, right? They're attached to because America's NATO is the head of NATO, and they all band together as like I don't know, for like a word, Euro-American kind of empire, Anglo-American they call it, yeah. So that's your main nations in Europe, right? Your British, your France's, your Germany's, some of the Spanish, Greece, the Italians.
That's a strong military in Europe.
Yeah, so you got parts of this block that some are stronger than others, some are weaker than others, right? But these are these horns that are supposed to be with Russia, with America, right?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought you still talk. So continuing on. Says, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Right. These shall hate the whore. So eventually, these, as is happening right now, these allies are going to get sick and tired of America because of how they're being treated. Okay, because America is the whore that rides this beast, right? And she's abusive.
Yeah.
She's an abusive woman, man. Just like so many of Eve out there, right? They're abusive women, man. Toxic women.
Yeah. Right?
And you can see how they treat their allies with disdain. Right? By just moving them aside, essentially, like, get out of the way. You're not good, you're useless.
Yeah.
Kind of thing,
Hey, what we were saying yesterday as well was like France is the second most powerful military.
Yeah, we did look
in
at that
Europe,
as well. Yep.
right? And then for America to just come out and straight say, yeah, you can't do it. That's sending a signal out to the entirety of, the world that actually,
you just publicly belittled them.
You know?
You know what I mean? Like, I'd be pissed. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? They got no respect for their own allies, man. So they're gonna lose respect for you, right? And eventually the day is gonna come. The Lord gonna have it in their spirits where they're just gonna say, "Fuck America, man."
Well, it says it in terms of the Russians, but ultimately we know it's gonna ultimately be like everyone. The Lord says in Ezekiel the 38th chapter, evil thought, shall come into their mind. Yep,
and the Lord's gonna put that evil thought in their minds, right? But we know how war works. We've heard the stories of World War II and people, changing sides and that kind of stuff. So people are gonna be talking to each other. They're gonna be talking to each other, while war's going on, and these European allies, they're gonna be thinking, you know what? Yeah, Russia, we might as well just side with Russia, man, because America's going on dumb right now, and they ain't give us no respect.
Yep.
So when the time comes, we're with Russia, and we're just gonna switch on that day or whatever happens, and we're gonna burn her. Because that's what it said they're gonna do, right? All to fulfill the word of the Heavenly Father. That's His purpose. So however that happens, or however that materializes, man, that is going to be the end result, though. But we can see through these instances in Gabon and stuff like that, how certain members, because even with Macron, who's Prime Minister of France, right? He even trying to move away from that US alliance sort of thing and join the BRICS nations and stuff like that, man, because it seems like a better offer for them.
Yeah.
Because he was saying about doing things that are strategically good for France. Their relationship with the US and Europe is just ain't that good for them. So they want to jump on with these BRICS nations, with Russia, with Brazil, and India, China, and them, because they're gonna get feel like they're gonna get a better deal out of it, man. So you can see that if everyone's gonna commit mutiny right now, it could be Macron, right?
That's it.
And maybe whoever else comes in power, if there is somebody else that comes in power after him, But he's a bad taste in the mouth of French people, man. Especially these rulers. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you can see it on the cards, man. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Let me grab this one first. This is Matthew 12 from 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Right,
and this is it. This is desperation right now. How can they be fighting against each other when they need to stand united, right? To stay strong, because Yahushua is coming.
Yeah.
But this is what's happening. US is getting frustrated. Edomites getting frustrated, right? Because time's running out. Revelation 12 and 12, time is running out for them, right? So they're making desperate moves, and they don't feel that they can rely on the French, to do what's necessary to keep control of the area. So they just decided to do it for them, But that's causing all kinds of ill feelings between one another, man. So they're divided. It's causing this division, and America's actions is causing this division, man. Where they're trying to do a show of strength, really is a sign of weakness.
Yep. Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So
he's not really trying to sit around, because he knows, the Lord's got Russia moving out there, and trying to make allegiances or alliances with these African nations, man. He can't afford to lose all these, all these resources that are meant to be under the control of NATO and all that kind of stuff. He can't have that happen. You can't have Russia strengthen Russia. You can't. They need to keep them as weak as they can, and they're failing right now.
That's it. I'm gonna grab Obadiah.
Yep.
So Obadiah 1, read into it. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord, power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumour from Yahweh, and an ambassador sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised.
Right, they're greatly despised, even among their own, people, among their own allies. They're despised because of how they've been treated. And that's why when John, saw the harlot, he was like took back in amazement. right? But she had all these wicked names, you know, mother of abominations and all this kind of stuff, and that's what America is, man.
Yeah.
You know, really, realistically, these nations don't really like America and how they handle things and do things.
They just like the fact they can make money from her.
But like the beast, they're on the leash. You know, the woman's the one riding it, the harlot's the one riding it, right? Everybody else is on the leash. So they have to go where the woman goes.
Yeah.
You know, they have to do what the woman tells them to do. That's what America is. You know? But like I said, you know, they're going to bite the hand that feeds them. They got that analogy, right? They're going to turn around and say no more.
Yeah.
You know, and bite that bitch.
Yeah, when the Lord puts a spirit on them. You know, because right now we're just waiting for that moment, right? We're waiting for prophecies to be fulfilled, right? But there is going to come a day when the Lord is gonna let those 4 angels, you know, just be like, all right, cool, bam, chill, all right, let this destruction come.
Yep.
Okay. Continuing on, verse 3 says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. Because
you're so, you believe in your strength, right? You believe in your armies, right? You believe in your economic power. You believe in all these things, but all that's being taken away from you. The Lord's breaking the scepter, breaking your scepters, man, breaking your dominion and your power, your teeth, right? Your military. They're becoming weak. And that's something else I mentioned yesterday, because I don't know if I did a video or we did a video. We were speaking about no, I think it was me, on the fact that they can't recruit for the military, and part of it is because no one wants to go. No one wants to join the military. But even if they want to go, most of them are not fit for combat. Yeah. Because Esau's destroyed the people. They've got them overweight and sick, you know, obese and that kind of stuff, got all kinds of diseases. So they're not fit to serve.
It's the spirit you mentioned. I just saw one thing online where it was speaking about how the route, I won't speak on the route, but basically the response was, it's like how the American military will go to like really poor cities in America, and there'll be everything will be closed, everything will be through, but then there'll be a load of sign up for the military signs everywhere. But that's very much contrary, for instance, to the law of Israel, right? Law of Israel, it wasn't about just getting anyone and everything. Yeah. No, if you had anyone that was even, you know, that was scared, it's like, nah, leave that guy at home.
They won't go.
You know.
But now you got a bunch of women, you got a bunch of flamers in there. How are you gonna have a strong military? Yeah. Because that's all you can get now. You're not getting no one else. Yeah. You know, like I say, you're poaching down these poor people because they've got nothing else. So you think you offer them this salary if you come and serve them and give them a gun, that they're gonna be your vanguard. They ain't, man. They're not, because in the article I mentioned that they can't find people that are patriotic anymore. The guys that are patriotic know you're full of shit.
Yeah, because they've already fought the wars.
They know you're full of shit already. They think the government's corrupt, so they don't want to fight. And you got people that don't give a shit that you got in your armies.
Yeah, that thing is, but that's, for instance, one of the reasons why the propaganda machine, right? Scriptures talk about how, you know, Esau moves, you know, in his witchcraft and his wine or whatever, what have you. That propaganda machine of Russia is losing, right? It's so important for them because, let's be real, you have people that, just join the military. What's really gonna happen? Look, we was in, you know, Afghanistan. Look, and look, Russia, they can't even beat Ukraine. Yeah. Right, but these times the truth on the ground is, bro, them Ukrainians are through.
Just remember, there's propaganda on both sides. It ain't one-sided. Like, we're not gonna say, Russia's the ultimate fucking military. Obviously, shit's happening in it, but you know, there's propaganda on both sides. You don't fully believe your home country, right? Definitely not your home country, because they're gonna tell you everything to make you feel confident, right? You know, so you have to, piece it all together. You know, yourself taking. I think we was talking about the alternative medias and that kind of stuff as well last night. You know, you should consider certain information, man, because if you start keeping things in mind and you start, seeing things later on down the line, you can start piecing things together, man, and things start to make more sense rather than having just some biased opinion on something just because there's no evidence on it, and no firm evidence, because everyone wants this fucking evidence, but sometimes the evidence just ain't there for you to fully just grasp it like that. Sometimes you have to piece little bits together and come up with a probable scenario that's happening. And everything that we go through is backed by the scriptures. So that's how we come to our conclusion, because these things that we piece together in lines is what what's in here. So we know where things are going. It's just a matter of it playing out.
We've got the general gist of we've got the general gist of the plan. It's just the intricacies that we may not necessarily know.
To find the details.
Can I get that real quick? Yeah. This is 1 Corinthians 13:12. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even also. But then shall I know even as also I am known. I just basically once again just going, we see through a glass darkly. There's certain things that we know in its entirety, and certain things are a gist. Like if you told a perfect example, if you told us, what year the law's going to come, but we don't know. Right, but we were given, things to look for us to be like, okay, we're round about the time, we are round about the time, right? In fact, this is a precept. I don't know, was about to say something.
Yeah, because the Most High said He will reveal this devil, man. So there's always stuff coming out on this devil.
Yeah.
And you just have to be, diligent in piecing things together. If you know these scriptures, you can piece it better. Because a lot of people have got these theories, got the theories out there, they've got the statistics and the analysis and all this kind of stuff, but no one really knows 100% or hasn't got the whole picture. Whereas we have a clearer picture. Yeah. We have that whole picture. They don't know where it all goes to. Because their picture doesn't involve us becoming the next rulers. Doesn't involve Yahweh Shai returning. It doesn't involve none of those things. So they haven't got the whole picture. They're all about to go into slavery. That's not part of their picture. So we know everything that goes on as a whole. Okay, we're just piecing, let's say you got the border of a jigsaw puzzle, right? You got the borders and you're just filling in the bits and pieces in the middle. We're not missing the whole section. It's just bits and pieces in the middle, and the picture's going to become whole.
Matthew 24:6 says, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places.
Right, so something else we mentioned as well, that these things have happened on Earth all the time, right? Wars and earthquakes and so on and so on, right? But all these things are happening in one moment in time. Okay, and it's happening on a global scale. It's not happening just in a region. There's problems in the whole Earth right now. Right, we've gone through the pandemics and all these kinds of things. These are all written of in the scriptures as the Lord's plagues and pestilences, and these wars that are going on is going to lead to that third world, which is the Third World War. Right, these things are outlined, and like I said, we just wait for them to manifest.
Yeah, and that's it. And that is one of the ways that we're able to determine just how far along we are, is the fact that these things are happening all at the same time. Real quick, 2 Ezra 9:1, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And what's our measuring stick, man? These prophecies, we're able to say, tick it off. So, okay, this is happening, that's happening. On and as the brother was going into, right, is just like, these things have happened before, but it's the fact that they're all happening at the same time, where we're like, ooh, this is interesting, right? It says, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I've told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Right? So we know as these prophecies come to pass more and more, as these coups happen, because effectively what we're seeing in the world, Salaki, is military alliances being made.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned last time. It's like an Arab Spring, but in Africa this time. You know what I mean? And the fire just seems to be spreading. With all these problems and the issues that are just erupting now, and because they got no love for the colonizers. Gabon is an alliance with US, so they feel like they have a good relationship with them, but they're gonna find out just like everybody else. They ain't for you either. So sides are being chosen right now, and sides are prone to change as world wars and wars have gone. But that's what's happening now. People are picking sides. The Lord is recruiting in individual teams.
But that's why when you look at what's happening across the world, why Russia is fighting so hard to make sure these certain countries so-called win. Right? Because right now a lot of these the countries are looking like, look, we've been with America, we've been with the West, the Western bloc, if you will, and that ain't got us great. And then that's why, for instance, they're looking at what's happening between, for instance, the military hardware, right? What we see on the news versus what's happening on the ground. These different America and Russia are using some of their high-tech weapons on the ground. right? And the world is watching. It was like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, the Patriot missile system, that if I want to defend, that's not necessarily the best thing right now.
Yeah, S-300, S-400s.
Yeah, exactly.
All that kind of stuff. I mean, Russia writing off debt and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
You know, so these things are being put out there for sides to be picked and chosen, man. Because I say a lot of these fights are going to be, you know, it's a world war, right? So they're all going to be drawn down there, and they're going to fight for their respective sides, man.
Yeah.
You know.
I think since you said that.
So, like I said, you know, these African nations that are under these different colonial powers in France and stuff like that, man, they don't really like them, you know, as we've seen, right? And so they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight against NATO and the EU, US, or whoever comes, right? They're gonna side with Russia. You're gonna have some African nations that feel like they're part of the, you know, the NATO bloc or whatever, the European bloc or you know, the US bloc or whatever, and they're gonna fight for them, but. That's why the Lord is you know, the Lord's going to destroy many people on the earth in this war. So it doesn't really matter whose side they're on. The Lord is just using conflict because there has to be conflict in all these different places, you know?
Joel 3:9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears, let the weak say I am strong.
So, you know, you imagine like Russia's turned up now, you know, in some of these African nations and you know, wiped off the debt. And what else do you think they're talking about? Weapons. Getting weapons to defend themselves from France and whatever, right? To be kitted out, to prepare for war, right? This is the spirit that's in the earth right now, you know, amongst these leaders, man. They're rallying up their allies for war, right? And you might think, oh, that war will never happen because nuclear destruction was it's ridiculous that it couldn't happen. Just know it ain't about these men and what they're thinking and whether they think it's ridiculous or not. It ain't about that. The Lord is moving them.
That's it.
The Lord is behind everything that's happening, and the Lord has intentions of you know, setting World War III and setting nukes on people, man. Right? And so it's not in men's hands, really. So it's something that's happened because it's going to happen because the Lord wants it.
Yeah.
All right. And this is just like the, you know, the build up, you know, as we say. And it might seem like it's, you know, we've been talking about it for a long time. So what?
Yeah. Well, that's Habakkuk too. It says, yeah, though it tarry, wait for it. It will not tarry. Because at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, this is a blip in the time of history.
That's right.
You know.
Right. Because the most important thing is that it's happening. It's going to happen. It's going to come to fruition. You know, so that's all you should be thinking about. Is like, okay, it's coming, and that's the mindset we're in. Like, you know, these things are building up before our eyes, and it's coming. You know.
Yep. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Did the cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh? Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
Right, Yahweh Shaphat, the valley of the Lord's judgment. Right, the Lord is, because the main conflict is going to be taken, you know, we be fought down there in the Middle East. Right, so you know we talk about Israel a lot, talk about Iran, right, and their conflict, their back and forth, right, and how that's going to spark something in there down in the Middle East, which is going to draw these nations down there, man. You know, because they have, you know, Russia got close ties with Iran, and so they're you know, they're meant to protect them, and Israel got ties with the US, you know, US with NATO and blah blah blah. So they have what do they call that? Not the right. They have a duty to defend them. All right, and so then you got all the major players involved now, just between two nations.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all it would have took. You know.
Yep. So it says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. Right,
that day is ever getting closer, man. You know, that's something that we know for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we're not in any doubt what's going on. These articles and these things that are happening have already served to fortify our faith. You know, because these are the words that the Most High spoke about, man.
Yeah.
So we're just, like I said, watching it manifest, man. And however long it takes to get to that frightful day, is how long it takes.
That's it.
But everything's on course, you know. That we do know.
Yeah.
All right. And like I said, this whole Gabon thing, we're going to see how that plays out, because, you know, I haven't seen nothing yet as of yet since then.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you know, the French might be saying something. You know, may have some harsh words for the US. Who knows, right? Maybe they'll keep quiet. However it works out, you know, it's only gonna fuel what's gonna happen next.
Yeah.
You know.
What was just quoted is Habakkuk 2:3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry.
Right? It ain't gonna keep tarry. It's not gonna go on forever, man. Esau ain't gonna be in power forever. This world ain't gonna be how it is now forever. You know, it's all gonna come to an end. Right? We just have to simply wait and be patient.
That's it.
You know.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Like I said, this was just a quick recap, because, you know, we went for twice the time last night, bringing out the article and all that kind of stuff and things that was going on. But yeah, I'm sure, you know, a lot of you probably already know what's going on down there now. So, you know, it's just a quick recap. So the Lord willing is edifying. We'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video, man. So next time, shalom.
Shalom.